This is your time, not by accident, not by chance, but by divine timing. As it is written, "See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut." Revelation 3:8. What God is opening for you now cannot be blocked, delayed, or taken away. Step into it with confidence. If this message spoke to you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and continue this journey of faith and purpose with us. Hello, my friend. Pause for a moment and really hear this, because this is not random. You were not brought here by accident, and you were not created to live your life chasing leftovers. You were never meant to fight endlessly for scraps of attention, validation, or worth. Deep down, you have always known that. There has always been something inside you, a quiet but undeniable sense that your life carries more meaning than what you've been settling for. That feeling was never arrogance. It was never illusion. It was the echo of something eternal placed within you by God Himself. Long before the world tried to teach you to shrink, to fit in, to survive by lowering your expectations, there was a truth already written over your life. As Scripture reminds us, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." That means before you ever had a name, you already had a purpose. So, if you've been feeling like you don't belong in environments where you have to beg to be seen, where you have to prove your value just to be accepted, that's not a flaw. That's confirmation. You were never designed for that kind of life. You were created for something set apart, something intentional, something greater. There is something within you that cannot be explained by logic alone, a quiet whisper that has followed you through every season of your life. Even in moments when everything around you felt empty, that whisper remained. It reminded you, without words, that you were meant for more. Not more in the way the world defines it, but more in the way eternity defines purpose. That whisper is not imagination, it is identity. You were set apart long before you ever tried to fit in. Before the pressure to perform, before the need to prove yourself, before the world introduced you to comparison and competition, God had already marked your life with intention. You were not designed to live trapped in systems that reward exhaustion and call it success. You were never meant to build your worth on how much you can produce, how fast you can move, or how loudly you can be seen. That is why something in you resists the culture of constant striving. It feels unnatural because it is. Your life was not meant to be driven by hustle, but by alignment. Not by chasing validation, but by walking in truth. You are not trying to become someone valuable, you already are. And the more you recognize that, the more your life begins to shift from proving to simply being. For a long time, your journey did not look like progress to the outside world. It looked like delay. It looked like being overlooked, unseen, and sometimes even forgotten. There were seasons where it felt like everyone else was moving forward, while you remained in the background, carrying weight that no one else could see. You showed up in rooms where your value was not recognized, gave your energy where it was not fully received, and kept going even when nothing seemed to reflect the effort you were putting in. There were nights you had to hold yourself together in silence, moments where you questioned if any of it mattered, if anyone noticed, if anything was changing at all. You watched others be celebrated while you remained hidden. You stayed consistent while others took shortcuts. You chose integrity when compromise would have been easier and more rewarding in the moment. And yet, it often felt like your choices were invisible. But those quiet sacrifices were never wasted. Every time you chose patience over reaction, every time you remained faithful without recognition, something was being built within you. You were developing a depth that could not be rushed or replicated. What looked like being ignored was actually a season of preparation. What felt like being left behind was actually protection. You were not just enduring, you were being shaped. And the strength you carry now was formed in those exact moments when no one was watching. What set you apart was not that your journey was easier. It was that you chose differently when it mattered most. You had opportunities to follow the same path as everyone else, to say what needed to be said, to become what others expected, just to gain acceptance. You could have adjusted, blended in, and played the game in a way that would have brought quicker recognition. But something in you resisted that. You refused to become a version of yourself that required you to abandon your truth. Even when it cost you visibility, even when it meant being misunderstood, you chose authenticity over approval. You walked away from spaces that wanted your gifts, but not your integrity. You said no to opportunities that looked good on the outside, but felt wrong on the inside. And while others were chasing attention, you were protecting alignment. That kind of decision is not easy. It often feels like loss before it ever feels like reward. There were moments you questioned if you made the right choice, if staying true was worth the isolation that sometimes came with it. But deep down, you knew you could not trade who you are for temporary recognition. You refused to play a game that required you to shrink, pretend, or perform. And because of that, you didn't just preserve your identity, you strengthened it. There comes a moment when everything begins to shift, not because you forced it, not because you figured out the perfect strategy, but because heaven has decided it is time. What is happening in your life right now is not the result of hustle, luck, or human approval. It is the result of divine timing. As Scripture says, "For promotion comes neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. But God is the judge. He puts down one and sets up another." Psalm 75:6-7. This means what is unfolding for you is not something anyone can block, manipulate, or replicate. God is the one positioning you. And when God begins to fund your life, it looks different from anything the world can offer. It is not measured by hours worked or effort displayed. It is measured by favor, unexplainable access, unexpected opportunities, and doors opening where there used to be resistance. You may start to notice things aligning without the same level of struggle. Situations that once required force now respond with ease. People who once overlooked you begin to recognize something in you they cannot ignore. This is not coincidence. This is divine endorsement. Heaven is backing what it formed. What you are stepping into is not a reward for performance. It is an investment in who you have become. God is trusting you with more because you have proven you can carry it without losing yourself. And this kind of elevation does not come with pressure to perform. It comes with the grace to walk in it. This is the moment where resistance begins to give way to favor, and where striving begins to be replaced by flow. You are not pushing your way forward anymore. You are being positioned. What is coming into your life now may not look like what you once imagined wealth to be, but it is far greater. This is not just about money or material gain. This is a different kind of abundance, one that reaches deeper than your hands and settles into your soul. It shows up as peace where there used to be anxiety, clarity where there used to be confusion, and rest where there used to be constant pressure. You will begin to notice doors opening in ways that do not require force. Opportunities will come without you chasing them. Connections will form without you having to prove yourself. What once felt blocked will begin to flow naturally, as if something unseen is making a way ahead of you. This is what happens when favor replaces resistance. And perhaps the most powerful shift of all is internal. You no longer feel the same urgency to compete, to compare, or to constantly strive. There is a quiet confidence growing within you, a knowing that what is meant for you will reach you without struggle. This is wealth that does not drain you to maintain it. Wealth that allows you to breathe, to be present, to feel safe. Because true abundance is not measured by how much you have, but by how deeply at peace you are while having it. There is a shift happening within you now, and it changes the way you move through life. For so long, you were used to striving, pushing, proving, chasing, trying to earn your place in rooms that were never meant for you. You carried the weight of needing to be enough, needing to show your value, needing to justify your presence. But that season is coming to an end. You are no longer required to prove what God has already established. You are no longer chasing what is already aligned with your life. Instead of forcing doors open, you will begin to notice them opening for you. Instead of exhausting yourself trying to be seen, you will find yourself being recognized without effort. This is what it feels like to move from striving into receiving. There is less tension, less urgency, less pressure to control every outcome. You are no longer operating from lack, but from trust. Things begin to flow, not perfectly, not instantly, but naturally. Step by step, you are guided instead of driven. And in this new rhythm, you begin to realize something powerful. What is truly meant for you does not require you to chase it. It meets you as you walk in alignment. What has been shifting within you will not stay hidden for long. It will begin to show up in your life in ways that are quiet but undeniable. You won't need to explain it or convince anyone. Your life will speak for itself. The peace you carry, the way you respond, the ease in how things begin to align, all of it will become evidence of what has already changed within you. There will be a noticeable difference in how you move and how life meets you. Situations that once brought stress will now feel manageable. Opportunities will come with a sense of calm instead of pressure. You will find yourself resting more, trusting more, and forcing less. This is not passivity, this is positioning. You are no longer trying to get somewhere. You are already being placed where you belong. And as this continues to unfold, one thing will become clear. You are not the same person you used to be. You are now positioned for what is next, and your life is beginning to reflect it.